Hello and welcome to another episode of Hot Mama's Cool Planet, the sustainable wellness podcast where we two hot, lifelong friends talk about caring for ourselves, our families, and our planet with humor, honesty, and maybe a little ranting along the way. I'm Mur, this is Miechie, and this week we are talking about high-protein, delicious desserts. Yum!
Yum. And before we get into that, we are going to do our usual sharing of small pleasures from the week. So what small pleasure did you have this week, Mur?
I had a lot. So we recently renovated our kitchen. I've been talking about that a little bit. We went all electric. We have no more gas anymore. We have an induction burner now, and
Ooh, you are in the future.
I know. Our ceiling and our floor are no longer disgusting. A lot of that is really big pleasures. But the tiny pleasure that I had was unexpected, that our sink is so much deeper and bigger than before. Like, I didn't even realize that this was a problem, but now I can stick like a whole cutting board in there, a whole baking sheet in there, and it's not gonna spill all over the counter and get everything wet. And it's white. Our previous one was metal, and this one, it just looks better. It's deeper. It accommodates everything. Who knew that was going to give me so much tiny pleasure? But it's a little free zone of delight.
Oh, are you missing your pleasure of when you used to enjoy washing dishes and you would get all bubbly and soapy, and now you have a dishwasher?
I've been thinking about that. So far, I wouldn't say I'm missing it, but I have noticed that I don't have that time, that 20 minutes kind of while I'm preparing dinner, and I'm just sort of like sitting there, and yeah, I don't miss it yet, but I think there may come a time when I do.
Okay.
What about you? What was your tiny pleasure this week?
Well, my tiny pleasure is in the evening. Sometimes I go out and I do a little gardening and weeding, and I was doing some weeding in the front yard, and I was listening to some music from my phone. And, since the Bad Bunny halftime show, I have been remembering how I used to love reggaeton about 5 or 6 years ago. So I was listening to my Lady Reggaeton, my Carol G on my headphones, pulling out weeds.
I remember you told me about Carol G. When you visited me here 6 years ago, you told me about Carol G and a few other reggaeton, and I felt like I knew stuff before everyone else did. So anyway, you were weeding and listening to your reggaeton. Please, I interrupted.
Yes, and the last component that was so nice about that moment was the sun was setting and it made all the clouds pink. And so, it was just this really nice moment that I had out in the garden. So that was my small pleasure in the middle of what was actually a bit of a more difficult week, because my dad broke his hip, my elderly dad, and so I was I've been a lot with him in the hospital and stuff this week. So, yeah.
Seniors with broken hips, that's a hard one to deal with. Yeah. And it's, I think, been a really tough week for a lot of people in the world. It's a rough time, and I think it's extra important to savor these tiny moments when the sky goes pink and reggaeton's on the music and your hands are all covered in dirt. Like, you have to savor those moments because that's all we've got to hold on to when other things are out of our control.
Yeah, maybe it sounds frivolous sometimes, but and by the way, I was wearing gardening gloves, so my hands didn't have dirt on them at that moment. But
you were still digging around in the dirt.
Yes. But yes, difficult times out there in the news, and a lot of chaos on the world stage, and hoping the best for everyone who's suffering, as hopefully we aren't going into World War III. So, yeah.
I hope we're not. But, it's easy to say right now from the safety of my home. But even if we are, I hope that I can still enjoy sunsets and digging in the dirt. And
Okay, so back to the important stuff. Let's talk about desserts.
I
So,
love dessert.
I love talking about dessert. And so today's episode is focused on plant protein desserts, which I first got more exposure to when I lived in Asia. So there was different ways I thought I could sort of rank all these desserts. I could do it based on how much protein they have in them or how delicious they are. But maybe we could do it geographically a little bit. Like, that's always fun. So,
Yeah,
because that's
sure.
how I just ran into most of them, is just, living in when I lived in Singapore and traveled around Asia. And, well, I also got some Mexican desserts and some desserts from other places. And you're also welcome to add some of your own. And I'll get to my own, also my California hippie dessert section from,
Oh,
where
fabulous.
I grew up.
Okay, good. And then I'll probably try to stump you by saying, how much protein is in this one?
Okay.
I'll be like, I don't know, I didn't look that one up.
Well, I
Okay,
did
where's first
look
on
up the protein for, each plant protein, how much protein they are, the daily value of them for 100 grams. So, and I was surprised by some of the answers. Some of the ones that I'm like, oh, I'm getting so much protein when I eat this, is actually not as much as some of the other ones. So anyway, that was curious. So yeah. So, okay. I'll start with, okay, well, I will start with deliciousness.
All right, that's a good way to rank things always.
I might not continue. I'll be all over the place in how I rank this. Okay. But okay. So Malaysian chendol is one of my most favorite desserts in the entire world.
I don't think I know it. What is chendol?
It is a shaved ice, and it has coconut syrup on top of it, and it has these big red beans in it. And it also has these little, like, green tapioca worm-like noodles in it. And it's so good. And it's when it's all hot outside, when you're in the tropics, and you have this big bowl of icy, coconutty chendol, you're just like, wow, this is amazing.
Exactly.
And then when you get
then.
to the sort of the center of it is, like, the red bean... sweet red beans in the middle, and they're just sort of like earthy and creamy. And yes, I love chendol. So I looked up red beans, and they have a lot of protein for a plant-based bean. They are beans. They are plant-based.
They're not human beings.
Yes, they're not animal foods. They are plant foods.
Yes.
So it's about 40% of the daily value of what you need for your protein. 50 grams is the total that you need, generally, of protein. So I went back and calculated some of this from the USDA website for different. Which is, even if you go, because I was searching around at also some other websites, and a lot of them base their calculations on that website. So some of them, it was a little, actually for this one protein, it was a little confusing. Oops, okay, sorry. Anyway, I just have to keep my mind on things because my dad's in the hospital, so I have to keep my phone near me. But so red beans. There are little red Adzuki beans, and then there's other kinds of red beans. And on the website, they only had dried red beans for the USDA Department of Agricultural website for food products. So it might not be quite as much protein as the calculation says, but yes. So 40% DB.
That's awesome, because like red beans are in so many Asian desserts that I can think of. Mochi always has red bean in the middle, or not always, but it often has red bean in the middle. Those, well, they can't be at all healthy, but those like fried sesame balls that you get from like Chinese dim sum places, those always have some bean paste in the middle. So
Yes.
I suppose at least, even though I'm eating like a fried donut full of sugar, there's some protein going on.
Yeah, and actually you're getting ahead of me because red bean mochi is next on my list.
Oh, good. That's like one of my favorites. I love that
I
stuff.
love mochi. Remember when we made a game years ago and there was like a mochi bakery in it? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Because it took place, as I recall, in post-war Tokyo, where everyone had gone completely sex crazed.
Yes,
that was the premise of our game.
It was a post-apocalyptic anime noir was the name of it.
Yeah,
That was a fun game. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about mochi.
So yes, red bean mochi, also has really high DV of protein, and it's delicious. And there is a mochi place near me in Sacramento that I've gotten peanut mochi from before. And that is super delicious too. I think that's more like a California take on mochi because...
Okay, but when I lived in Singapore, remember I was only there for like 6-7 months, and I was there before you, so that was a long time ago. I don't know, 15, 20 years ago even. What was the name of that big department store that had a basement with all the food court downstairs? There's, you know how like Macy's has that, Harrods? Takashimaya, maybe that was it. So anyway, I used to go downstairs, and there was a place that sold mochi, and I was like, mochi? What is that? Some bad spelling of
like
mochi?
Mochi.
Mochi? Anyway, it was mochi, which I came to understand was some Chinese, although I'm not sure if it was Singaporean or somewhere else that had a lot of Chinese people, but it wasn't actually China. Anyway, it was some Chinese, let's say, version of mochi where instead of stuffing the stuff inside of the glutinous rice and making like a ball out of it, they instead would like chop up a whole bunch of the glutinous rice stuff and like kind of mix it with, in this case it was chopped up peanuts and sugar, and basically, and then serve it to you in just like a little takeaway container.
Oh wow!
And then I would always go in that mall. There was a movie theater, and I would always go and like watch a movie and just like stuff my face full of mochi, which is like inside out.
You should have told me about that while I lived in Singapore for 10 years.
Sorry.
That sounds amazing. I love like with Asian dessert. Like it took me a while because I had this like, culturally superior idea, like European desserts are better, but I actually have come to really appreciate Asian desserts, and I think one of the things that makes them so wonderful sometimes is the texture. And so that sounds like, with that mochi texture, the glutinous rice chopped up like that sounds amazing. Yeah.
I really loved it. I love peanuts. I love mochi, that glutinous rice texture. So yeah, can't go wrong with me.
Yum. Wow.
What's next on
your
your
dessert
list?
to try. Yeah. Okay. Mochi. So next on my list is also something that I had in, a couple things that I had living in Singapore that are more Chinese culturally, which is mooncakes.
Right. So I remember the Mooncake Festival.
Yes. So I adore mooncakes. They are like, kind of like, I would say, these compressed little cake cookies with glutinous filling in the middle, with a really pretty pattern on them, oftentimes, that has been impressed onto the shape of them, like flower prints and so on. And some of them are really fancy, and they have like quail eggs in the middle, and like
I like
really
the ones
pricey.
That have the egg yolk in the middle. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, they make one of the basic flavors, if I remember right, is like a bean paste, a red bean paste, and it's really good. Another basic flavor is the lotus paste. That is also really good.
Did you look up protein on lotus beans?
I didn't, because I just assumed, like lotus root is not going to have a lot of protein. It's probably healthy for you in terms of fiber and other things, but it's not like a legume, so.
I always thought it was lotus beans. I never realized it was the lotus root.
I assume it is. Yeah.
Well, now that makes total sense. All right then.
Okay.
I'm gonna veer more toward the red bean ones now that I realize that I mean, like you say, they're still good.
Yeah.
But like the red beans have protein.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we need to back up a little and say, why is it healthy to have even protein in your desserts? Well, okay, dessert, is never super healthy because it's got sugar in it, which isn't great for you, but sometimes you need something deliciously sweet. And if you can balance that with the protein, that will bring your blood sugar levels down. So, yeah, that's what's basically really great about it. And then also, if you're like me and you get you source your protein from plant-based proteins mostly, then it's also a good source of protein. So,
Yeah, and we have minimum needs. We need protein every day. And like you say, it's going to prevent these blood sugar spikes. So eating a dessert that's high in protein is, going to be less bad for you than just eating a big sugar fat blob.
correct.
Make it a sugar fat protein blob. And then boom.
Yeah, and also if the fat is more plant-based
Yeah.
and less dairy, that's also good and also better for the environment. So yeah. So lots of good things about eating plant-based protein desserts. Yeah, so yeah, where was I? The mooncakes. Mooncakes are beautiful in Singapore in
And
the
they're
autumn.
associated with the mooncake festival, right?
Yeah, in autumn it is a festival where people burn incense and put out offerings to their past ancestors and sort of burn all these things for the ghosts. I think it's a ghost festival, if I remember.
Oh, neat. Oh, so it's
Right?
in autumn, like right around Halloween and Day of the Dead. Like I think a lot of cultures
Yeah, it sort of
have-
comes a little bit before that, like when it's still like summertime, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the mid autumn or the mid harvest festival or something. The Mooncake Festival, something like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
people like burn these, like they burn, at least in Singapore, I've seen people burn things that they think their relatives would like Apple laptops recreated in paper and like like luxury items recreated in paper. It's a very curious festival, and you get the mooncakes around then. So
I love those. Yeah, here in London, if you go to the Chinatown area, there's some Chinese bakeries that just have long queues that wrap around the block when it's time for Mooncake Festival, and everybody knows that's where to get the best ones. But I always wait until afterwards, and then I buy them when they're on sale because. As somebody who doesn't celebrate the Mooncake Festival, I just want to eat the mooncakes.
right. Yeah, and I remember some of them can be super fancy and expensive, and yeah, so yeah, you might want to get a little sale discount on that. So, all right. So moving forward, mooncakes. What do I have next? Oh, peanut soup. So
Ooh, as a dessert.
As dessert, yeah. In Chinatown, because I mean, a lot of people don't realize this about Singapore, but Singapore is multi-ethnic cultural. There are Malaysians, there's Little India, and there's also a Chinatown. And so in Chinatown, I discovered this soup in Singapore, in these kind of like old, dusty food courts that are there, and a lot of elderly people. You can smell a lot of ginseng in the air, and then I had this amazing peanut soup there.
What's it like?
It's just very earthy and sweet. Imagine like ground up peanuts with sugar warm in a bowl.
Gosh, that sounds heavenly. I could live off of that stuff. I am definitely one of those Americans who, lives somewhere else and everybody thinks I'm so weird because I'm addicted to peanuts and peanut butter. But gosh, what you're describing, just give me a straw and I'll slurp up the whole thing. That sounds so good.
It's really good. And peanuts, I was surprised to learn yesterday, have a really high protein in them. So, I mean, I knew they had protein, but compared to the others, I think on my list, it's the highest amount of protein. So 52% daily value. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to figure out how to make peanut soup because that sounds right up my alley.
I mean, this isn't on my list, but now I'm kind of diverging a little into like satay is so good, and it's like in between like savory and sweet, like the
It is.
Indonesian
Mm-hmm.
satay sauce with peanuts is really with ginger and the
Yeah.
garlic and but sugar normally also. Especially I think the Malaysian version of it is more sweet, so it's not it's like
That's what I like
a
about
distant relative
peanuts.
of peanut soup, but the Chinese version is more purist. It's like doesn't have spices in it. It's just simple. Yeah.
But that's the I think to me anyway, that's the cool thing about peanuts is that you can bend it either sweet or savory, and I don't know, I like that. Where I live, there's a big Jamaican population, and there's a drink that I can get from the Jamaican places that's peanut drink, and it's like. And it sounds like a runnier version of your peanut soup. So it's basically just thinned down. In my mind, it seems like peanut butter that's been thinned down a lot with water and some sugar. And it's yummy. Peanut punch.
Yum. That reminds me of one time I was visiting you back when you used to work at Google and in Mountain, what's that, Mountain View?
In Mountain View?
Yeah, and
California.
we went and stopped at this like fast food place and there were peanut milkshakes and those were really good. Anyway.
We did? Because that sounds good. I want to go
Oh,
back
you weren't with
there.
me. I was like, yeah, I had just visited you and so
Oh, okay.
I
Oh, I
was
see. You're going and getting peanut milkshakes on your own. I get that.
yes.
Next time, bring me.
Okay. So, okay, so going down the list, we still got some delicious desserts to cover here. So, next up is Chinese black sesame shaved ice.
Ooh, yummy.
My friends from when I lived in Singapore, some of my colleagues and friends who were from Taiwan and China, they introduced me to Chinese ice cream, which is fantastic.
How is it different?
It's like this shaved ice, and they make it into like this huge mountain, and they like kind of do like if you go to a Western ice cream place, there will be like the different flavors already like ground up and made.
Uh-huh.
But these
Yeah.
ones they do it on the spot, so they will you make your
Oh, they mix it together with the
with the
flavorings.
ingredients. So they'll like make this amazing pyramid of black sesame, which is one of my favorite flavors, and then it might have some peanuts or other things in it, and looks like a mountain of snow that you get to eat. So
Oh, that sounds fun. And I
yeah,
love, like, black sesame desserts often end up being, like, gray or almost black, And, like, so they don't exactly look appetizing all the time, but I find that extra exciting to eat stuff that looks like a big pile of asphalt.
yes, me too. They had other flavors that people liked a lot, like durian or mango or more fruity flavors, but I
Yeah.
just love the black sesame. And it turns out black sesame has a high amount of protein in it, 36% daily value, so it is a good source of plant-based protein. And let's see, next
Are
up,
you going to hit any other sesame desserts? Because I am foreshadowing totally going to ask you about halva.
oh, I totally forgot about halva. Oh, I love halva, going way back. Yes,
When
yes.
you used to go to Israel sometimes, I remember, and then I bet you had a lot of really good halva there.
Uh,
No?
I don't recall that as like I think the halva was just as good like in from a deli that I used to get it from in San Jose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but yes, I do love halva is such a delicious sesame dessert and
And it's really, I think, just like sesame's ground up with sugar, and the sugar's not good for you, but the sesames are, so you can kind of justify it.
yeah, and it's just fun to like eat by shaving off pieces of it and it feels like you're eating something earthy and yes.
Yum.
Yes, I love halva. Okay, and so let's stick with the sesame for a little bit. So the sesame Chinese sesame cookies also. Um, w- well, yeah, those aren't actually my most favorite, but they're pretty yummy. And let's see. Oh, another dessert that I had, and this is my last dessert from Singapore, which is soft tofu pudding with durian. Um,
Ooh.
I used to, I think I talked about this in a different episode with the Eco Towns and Cities episodes. I'd ride my bike along this linear park in Singapore all the way to the
Yeah.
center of the city. And so I would do that, and we would stop at this one food court that had this special tofu durian pudding that was really silky soft. And that was like the prize at the end of the bike ride.
Tell our listeners about durian to somebody who hasn't experienced it. And then I'll tell my stories about durian if you like. But
Okay. Oh, yes. So durian is kind of like, looks a bit like a jackfruit. It's this big tropical fruit
it looks
that,
like a weapon.
yeah, it looks like a
I mean,
grenade.
it's big. Yeah, it's big. It's like the size of a soccer ball,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe
And
a
it's
little
covered
bigger.
in spikes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
more like oblong, oval shaped. But yeah, and it has this powerful, powerful smell that's why they have in Singapore like no durian signs on the subway system,
Yeah.
because the smell is so strong that it's just makes people want to faint because it's
And people describe that smell like BO, like stinky feet and cheese and stuff. But
yeah,
can
it's
you
not really
taste
like
it?
that to me.
No?
It's just durian. I don't know how to else to say it, but but the despite the smell being so terrible, the taste is amazing, and yeah, it's like almost it's kind of gooey and delicious and caramely and like almost maybe a little like mango but more creamy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember when I was living in Singapore and I encountered durian, I thought it was disgusting the first time I tried it. I was like, ugh, I'm throwing this away. And then somebody told me, you need to try it 4 times with an open mind. And I did, and by the third time I really liked it. Anyway, I have used that advice over and over and over repeatedly for so many different things in my life.
oh,
People are saying this is great. I think it's gross. All right, I'm going to try it 4 times with an open mind.
that is great advice. I love that. I think that's what
Yeah.
happened to me with savory porridges. Like when I first moved to Asia, I didn't like savory porridge at all. I'm like, oatmeal is sweet. Porridge should be
Right.
sweet. It took me a while to appreciate, a nice salty porridge. So
Yeah,
anyway,
congee.
yes, congee.
Yeah. Yeah, durian. All right, so durian tofu, that sounds creamy and yummy.
It was so good, and the tofu was like that. I guess it was like more like the Chinese version of silken tofu, like really soft and silky, and yeah.
Do you know, I know you haven't gotten to your California hippie desserts yet, but do you remember the restaurant Greens in San Francisco? I think it's in San Francisco. That's like famous vegetarian restaurant and, one of the first like 4-star fancy gourmet but vegetarian crunchy granola type restaurant, right?
Yeah.
I remember that they had on their menu a dessert that was, I think it was basically just like silken tofu and like chocolate and sugar, I guess.
Oh.
And it ended up being this delicious cream pie, but it was so silky and it was just tofu. It was apparently I found the recipe for it at one point, like from the Greens cookbook or whatever, and it was really
Oh.
easy. Yeah, and it was mostly just
Oh.
tofu.
I want to
So
look that up. That sounds amazing.
yeah, you should. I mean,
Yeah.
high in protein. How much protein does tofu have
Oh,
compared to
tofu
peanuts?
is pretty high. Let's see, where does that go? 36%.
I'm surprised less than
So
peanuts,
peanuts
but
52%,
yeah.
tofu 36%. Compared to other legumes, it's high. So yeah. So all right. So now, okay, now we're moving to India, and I don't know if you've ever had these Indian laddu
Those are
around.
like the little diamond-shaped cookie things.
Well, there are diamond-shaped Indian cookie sweets, but yeah, this is around the time of Diwali, or in Singapore they say Deepawali, the Indian festival of the lights in the fall, and people make all these different delicious Indian sweets. Well, I love them, and laddu is one of them. It's like a ball of chickpea flour, besan flour, with sugar, and I don't know if it has some kind of like ghee or some kind of something in it too, greasy in it, but it's so good. It's
Yum.
they are really good, and they are, pretty healthy for you because they're almost all made of chickpea flour. So
I want the recipe for that. Yum.
yeah, and the DV for chickpeas is 18%. So actually, that was a little bit lower than I was expecting because I've been eating like, a lot of chickpeas in my life lately, since I don't eat much meat anymore. So yeah, but chickpeas are good for you, and they do give you some protein.
Chickpeas are like quite possibly my all-time favorite food. Just because, like with peanuts, you can sweeten them if you want to. You can savory them most of the time. That's how we do it. I can just eat them straight out of the can like a snack, or I can put them in a curry or any kind of meal. And I love chickpeas.
Me too. For a while, Trader Joe's used to carry this chickpea chocolate hummus, which was really good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then they
That
stopped,
sounds
but it was
great.
really yummy.
I could imagine just eating that straight out of the jar, the container. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was also going to mention Middle Eastern chickpea cookies with cardamom.
Love those. You introduced me to those, and oh my gosh, I am so addicted. I always go to my Middle Eastern place and spend far too much money on these chickpea cookies. Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're tiny and
Yeah,
kind
they're
of
like little,
they kind of
little.
like crumble in your mouth.
Yes.
And you're probably only supposed to eat a few of them, but I eat way too many. Oh my gosh, tell me about more of those.
I don't know if I've had the best, like, freshest version of those, because what you're describing sounds more yummy than what I've had. But
Well, I don't think I've ever had a fresh version. They always come in like a plastic container that is clearly flown in from somewhere
Yes.
in the Middle East. I don't know where.
Yeah.
And but I get them at my a place here called Persepolis that has all sorts of different Middle Eastern kind of groceries and a little restaurant attached. And I just I can't control myself around them. Anytime I go there, if I just need like some tahini or some seeds or my halva, yeah, I see those chickpea cookies and I go bonkers. I'm out of control.
Yum. That reminds me, I used to make chickpea cookies myself based on flour, and I would put cardamom and rose petals in them, and
Ooh.
those turned out good. Sometimes
That
the
sounds
texture was like more like rocks, so I would bring
That's
that.
not as good. But
Yeah, I had some friends who we called it spa night. We would meet once a week when my sister lived at a place with a hot tub, and I would bring those, and people were like, "Oh, the rock cookies again." But some of my other friends there really liked them, so they were sort of hit or miss. So you were saying something about you like chickpea cookie dough?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a recipe that I've been making a lot for the past year or two. You basically, in a food processor or a blender, you blend up a bunch of chickpeas and peanut butter or almond butter, whatever your choice is, and some sort of sweeteners, like maple syrup is really yummy, a little bit of salt. I think those are the main ingredients. I mean, you can flavor it up however you like, but then you just you grind it all up until it's the texture of cookie dough. And then just as you would eat cookie dough right out of the bowl, and maybe you bake some of them, but like me, I eat mostly the cookie dough. Anyway, this stuff tastes just like cookie dough. Oh yeah, and then you mix in some chocolate chips because that's the fun part.
Oh wow!
And yeah, and you just eat it up like raw cookie dough. Only
I'm going to try that.
I love it. There's loads and loads of recipes online so you can get the proportions right, but I don't follow them. I just wing it, and usually I'm quite satisfied with the results.
That sounds good. Is it? It doesn't give you indigestion to eat the besan flour raw?
No, it's chickpeas from a can. It's not chickpea flour.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so now we only got a few more left on my list. Let's see. I didn't mention when we were talking about peanut butter. One of my favorite Mexican desserts that I used to get when I lived in Mexico City, near Manga Monster. My 11-year-old's his grandmother lives there still near her house, is Mexican polvorones. They are like a peanut butter cookie that's really crumbly and they just crumble apart and they're so yummy. And then I looked up, I was like, well, but what about other nuts? So I'll just read off the DV of other nuts because, there's so many desserts. That could be a whole other episode of like nut desserts, but like pecans, well, the most actually is peanuts, which
aren't really
nuts.
a nut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then comes almonds at 42.8%, and then comes walnuts at 29%, hazelnuts at 27%, and pecans at 20%. So
That's a big range.
yeah. I didn't know almonds were so high up there. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then, we're in Mexico, so I'll mention another one of my other really good, yummy Mexican desserts that's super healthy for you, which is amaranth squares. They're kind of like Rice crispy treats, like puffed amaranth grain, that are sweet with honey, and they're sold often by indigenous women, like on the street in Mexico City, and they are so good. And amaranth, just like quinoa, is a complete protein, so it has, I think, what is it, all 9 amino acids. So amaranth is really good for you, and it has about 30% DV of the protein that you need.
What are these amaranth squares like? I've never seen them. What are they?
Very similar
are they hard?
to
Are they
like
soft?
if you've ever the grain of amaranth is kind of like tastes kind of like rice, puffed rice.
It's a really tiny grain,
It's
isn't
a
it?
tiny puffed grain, yeah. At least when they prepare it that way, there's probably other ways to prepare it, but that's the way I've had it in these sweets.
Oh, so are they like Rice Krispie treats, basically?
Yes.
Except with amaranth. Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Oh,
Yeah.
I would try that. Yeah.
Okay, so now we got to the California hippie hacks portion
right.
of things right at the end. So I'll just list some of my favorite ones off. Besan brownies, almond rose chia pudding, peanut butter protein granola. I'm not really a big fan of protein bars. Like, I
No,
think
not
they're
either.
they're not as good as they often have a lot of sugar in them, and they're just not that tasty. But I put that there because
they're
think
ultra processed.
they're very hippie-ish, so I thought, well, I have to put them there.
And if we're talking about protein, sure, they're high in protein, but I think they serve a purpose. If you need convenience and you want the protein and they're tasty, sure, but if you have the time to make something, I think there are better options.
Yeah, I
healthier
used to make my
options.
own protein bars, which were really yummy, when I lived in Singapore, and I had just had Mango Monster, and I remember I was like really tired and breastfeeding, and I just needed something really quick that would like give me energy and power, and yeah. But those were tasty, but yeah, a lot of the ones in the store I don't think are that great.
Tell me about your Besan brownies, because I've heard of black bean brownies and beetroot brownies, but yeah. Do you
So
want to
I
tell me
have
about
made black bean brownies also. I love them. So like just earthy and dark and delicious. But yeah, Besan brownies is with chickpea flour instead of regular flour. And
Oh, that's an easy swap.
yeah, and I have made them completely vegan before. I made them for like a bake sale that was raising money for a field trip that Manga Monster went on, and made a whole bunch. They're gluten free, so yeah. But I think they're just so good. So yeah. What else can I tell you? They taste like it's very similar to regular brownies. There might be a little bit more of an earthy chickpea taste to them from the chickpea flour, so I don't mind it. Manga Monster prefers like regular brownies, but yeah, that's his choice.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's, an 11-year-old kid. Power to him.
So, oh yeah, the chia pudding. You were saying that
I have become a chia pudding machine. So, yeah, about a month or so ago, I discovered that Godzilla enjoys chia pudding, and I was thrilled because she far too often wants like ultra processed stuff, and I'm always looking for healthy snacks that I can give her. And yeah, chia pudding, something we can agree on. So the way I do it is I just have jars, that I just jars, whatever are lying around. I figure out the flavoring. So the ones that I made for her most recently, we got some oranges, and I just chopped up a bunch of oranges. There's no pith or anything. And then I put in some vanilla and some brown sugar. I thought that went well with oranges. And then I put in like basically 2.5 tablespoons, except that I don't measure it exactly, so I'm making that up, of chia seeds. And then I fill it up with kefir, as we say here in Britain. I think it's kefir in America, but I'm not sure because I started having it here. So kefir.
I was wondering what kefir was. Okay.
I think it's, I don't know.
I thought it was,
anyway,
the thing in Dubai chocolate, the kafati. I'm like, I was getting really confused.
Yeah, different stuff. Yeah. So kefir, that stuff. Runny yogurt, basically. And I mix it up, and I am ecstatic because she's getting the fermentation from the kefir, and she's getting loads of fiber from the chia seeds. There's tons of protein in both of those ingredients. And then sure, there's like sugar and things, but I'm really happy that I'm feeding her healthy stuff. And in fact, she loves it so much, there's never even any left for me to have. So,
wow, this sounds exciting. I'll share with you my version of chia pudding, which was to take almond. It's so easy. It's like the fast food version of it. Almond milk, chia seeds, and some rose syrup that I got from the international store, like Middle Eastern rose syrup that people add to desserts. And so that just makes a really nice chia pudding that I guess with the almonds are pretty high in protein, so
yeah. You can totally be creative. If you have frozen fruit in your freezer, any kind of fruit will work. So I've done it with strawberries, cherries. I've chopped up some apples. I did it with junk food too. She has like Nutella, and I mixed some Nutella in there, and strangely enough, surprisingly, that was not her favorite. Yeah, I've put in chocolate and peanut butter. She's not a peanut butter fan. I don't know if she's actually related to me. Maybe it's because she grew up here in the UK. I don't know, but she wasn't into that one either. But yeah, the fruit
people
ones
on that side of the water often don't appreciate peanut butter. Like my dad would always complain about how horrible it is because he's from Germany. It's amazing that
they let me be a citizen even though I eat peanut butter and I don't drink tea, but amazingly they let me live here anyway. So yeah, really, as far as your creativity will take you, you can make chia pudding in any flavor.
I think chia is one of the good sources for plant-based folks of omega-3.
That's useful.
Yeah. So when I was building I'll talk more about this in a later episode, but when I was building the episode for Fruity's new Spain tapas protein episode, I learned that about chia. So yeah.
And plus you can spread it all over a clay thing and make a chia pet. Remember those from like the 80s?
Yes.
Chia pets. So they're cool in every dimension. Chia seeds are.
Oh, the last thing on my list was soy protein popsicles, which we make. Manga Monster and I enjoy in the summer with soy milk and, other. We just have, it's like a little science laboratory where we just make all kinds of popsicles.
I love, that's awesome. Yeah, we do that often with yogurt more often just because we tend to have it around. Yogurt and whatever else is good to be in there. It's kind of the same as chia pudding except in frozen form and no chia.
Oh, I'm going to try it mixed with chia with kefir or however you say that. But yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I could live on just sweets if I was, if it was a healthy thing to do. So this is all really, really inspiring to me personally. Yeah, I have way too much of a sweet tooth.
And I love sweets too. And I probably eat too many of them, but I try to let's try to eat more healthy sweets if we must eat sweets.
Exactly. It's just leading a balanced life. It's all good.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for doing all that research.
Sure.
Shall we sign off with our intentions for the week?
Yes, we shall. And while you say yours, I will think of mine because I don't have one yet.
All right. Okay, so my intention for this week is to do my physical therapy every single day. Simple. I know it helps, and sometimes I'm flaky. So just gonna be vigilant about it.
That sounds really good. My intention is things are getting a little bit more busy because I just got into a local accelerator called the Big Bang, and I am going to be doing lots of interviews with my game and research and all kinds of stuff. So my intention is, while as I get more busy and balance, all the other responsibilities like with my dad and everything, that I remember to take moments in the morning to, like when I go on a walk or do yoga, things like that, to just stay balanced as things get a little bit more busy for me. So,
can I say three things in response to what you just said?
Yes, you can.
Okay. One, best wishes to your father for a quick and healthy recovery. Two, congratulations for getting into this accelerator thing. That sounds awesome. And three, if any of our listeners want to help you out with this next level, how should they contact you?
They should go to the Fruities website, carrothouses.com, and they can scroll to the bottom and join the playtesting. And that would be super helpful.
All right. All 6 of you out there, you know what to do.
Hey, every bit helps.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week. Have a good one.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.